Again, we have our next pending match. Beef's tournament life is riding on if FalconHit can defeat Slappydavis.
Wow, yeah, and these two, they do have a bit of a competitive history because, as you mentioned in SCL Season 6, for example, they were in Diamond together. Different event entirely, but does give us a little insight into their general skill level, and both have been playing for just years. We're talking, 5 to 6 years in one case and even longer in another. And we also talk about the rock, paper, scissors aspect of SpyParty a lot, where at higher levels you won't have a straight hierarchy of skill where A beats B and B beats C and so on, and you can just kind of go like that. It's more like A beats B, B beats C, C beats A, right? Based on style and skill subsets. And the Slappy Falcon matchup is a good example of this. On paper, these two should be pretty even, but in practice, Falcon has given Slappy a lot of trouble. He's played him 4 times and never lost. 3 wins, 1 draw. And in that draw, Slappy was down 6-3, just like Beef was, and had to win the last 3 games to avoid an outright loss. So Falcon has been fairly dominant. And if you're wondering how they've done it, well, it's mostly by locking down Slappy's Spy. Falcon, as a sniper, is 17-4 against Slappy's Spy, and of those 4 losses, just 1 is a mission win. So in 21 Spy games, Slappy has 1 mission win against Falcon. That is pretty rough. And Falcon's not been bad on the other side of the rifle, too, going 10-12 against Slappy Sniper. So a lot of those wins superfluous, because with that kind of sniper domination, you really don't need much else.
Yeah, so Beef hoping history holds true here for this match. And we're going to get right on into it. We have our first game, FalconHit versus Slappydavis. FalconHit on the Spy side as Queen.
As Queen, yep, Library in 3, 2, 1, playing its Library again. And historically, FalconHit has actually done pretty well on Library. For some reason, it's been a good venue for them, a lot of good bugs, and that's partially because FalconHit and Ponu play a ton on Library against each other, but I would say pretty good against anyone on it. It's just a venue they seem to be comfortable with. A lot of time ads, though, so keep an eye out for that. We end up in a perfectly innocuous conversation, and that's not where you want to be as the Spy, so we're going to leave early on and go next to our seduction target, which also happens to be right behind a pillar, so that's a bonus. Our seduction target is Steek, probably a good foot taller than us, despite the hat, and we are going to get a green test on that flirt, 51%. That's another green flirt at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see. You always like it because it's just going to make your pacing that much easier, especially if you hit that 2 green. But even if not, you don't have to get close to your ST more than once after that, because even if you hit that white test 34%, it's going to be 15% more to finish flirt, and you can do that from anywhere.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It ended up being a big deal early on when we saw those rushes on Library, but if you don't want to rush, whether or not the first flirt is white or green doesn't usually make a big difference. We are going to go and stand off to the side and then come right back to the exact same spot. You'd say that's conspicuous because you're next to your seduction target in the exact same spot again, but it's kind of covered by the pillar, so a little less so. We are going to wait about 5 or 6 seconds, pretty standard for the Spy, before flirting when we enter that conversation. It's going to be a white test this time, though, so that is going to reduce our options. 85% now on the flirt, but FalconHit, this is interesting, prioritizing flirt early on.
Yeah, prioritizing getting it done is a little bit more rare, I feel like. A lot of Spies, pretty much every Spy, likes to get that early flirt, but not all of them are going to sit around and wait for that second flirt.
Yeah, definitely not. And Slappydavis prioritizing Purloin here is zooming in on it very closely on these drink takes, and FalconHit doesn't seem particularly interested in it. We're going to go to the yellow bookshelf. We're going to pick up a book very quickly. No delay there. Are we going to try to cheese this out of here? No, we see the laser swing over, and maybe we think better of it if we were thinking of running away with it at all. There's 1 cycle, and we're going to wait till at least 2. FalconHit being nice and cautious here. And I'm not sure. It looks like we were just killing time. Maybe could just be an opportunity thing. Go over, and if the sniper seems distracted, I'll take it out. But if they don't, instead I'll just green BB and bail on it. Are we going to get low lit for this?
No, Slappy's very conservative with those low lights. Both Pearls and Salmon could have been taken, but Pearls and Salmon were in the same area that we were just then. So if those low lights have been taken, maybe we get low lit as well. But only 2 low lights. For a contact on Library, you will absolutely take that if you're FalconHit. It's one of those scenarios we talked about earlier in last set.
There's the cheese briefcase that you talked about earlier. Put it down behind the conversation. And by the way, that BB split, something that maybe works against FalconHit's normal nemesis. That does work very well against those two, but not so much against Slappy, who, as you said, is very conservative with the lowlights. A man after my own heart, and it serves him well here. The Seduce is done, though, and I think that fingerprint was totally clean. So we are halfway done with our missions with about 2 minutes left. We are making very steady soft tail progress, but we're going to need to find a little extra something. Even if that fingerprint's clean, even if we finish it clean, we still have to find 1 more mission, 1 hard to tell somewhere in there.
Yeah, that is going to be the difficult part, especially if you try that hardtail after you go for something like fingerprint inspects. Once you have all of those softtails done. Now, mind you, the fact that we have this fingerprint completely clean means getting one doesn't matter what at all. The sniper just get one unless the Slappy is willing to credit with a missed fingerprint. It's not gonna raise our threat level pretty much.
No,
At
because
all
of the
in a
5
sniper's
missions.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, if this were ballroom or something, it'd be very different. If it were courtyard or something, it'd be very different because that's the 4th mission potentially. We kind of get stuck there around that corner there,
stuck?
but it doesn't matter.
I don't know if
I
that was
think
trying to getting stuck or trying to do a pillar purloin and thinking better of it at the last second.
I don't know. Whatever it was, they stopped walking briefly, and I'm not sure it was valid. But it's okay. It's okay. We still have partial progress across several different missions here. We did go to side statues, which to me indicates an inspect swap finish, potentially. Or at least suggests it's slightly more than a center statue visit would have.
Yeah,
because if you already have the center inspects, then you go in there and you're being watched all the more. The ambassador looks like they're about to put this book back. FalconHit waits a second and times it so they get the print. Slappy is absolutely the kind of sniper who will notice that. That is a very aggressive print, but it is the second one, and I like it because it's assuming the first one was clean.
Oh, we could go swap for Alice right now. She's ponytail. She's at center statues right now, getting that completion. We could go there right after her, swap for her, and that would be putting us in overtime.
We're not going to do it.
Instead,
though.
we're just going to go into our own side statues.
It's going to be inspect swap probably from this statue instead. It's going to be noticed. Yeah.
Look at
Maybe
that
not watch as much. There's the swap. It's a white test. It's not visible, but it doesn't matter. Slappy's going to take the shot to the brim of the hat without seeing the swap, just on circumstance.
Yeah, that's really quite an impressive shot from Slappy. I think we had a little bit more, a little bit of a higher chance to win that if we just wait to swap Alice's statue. Because this is a silent game, you know that she's very unlikely. Oh wait, it's not a silent game. I just forgot because of how few low lights Slappy got. It's not a silent game, but the important bit is there were so few low lights in that game that you can be pretty confident that she's not one, especially when you see the laser looking for her swap. You can tell that Slappy's looking for this on the sniper cam, looking for her potentially finishing missions there. And if we wait for her, maybe we get away with it. Maybe we make that 50-50 a decision that Slappy has to make, but instead just shoots us on circumstance, and it's a really impressive shot.
There's a weird mix here going on in that on one hand, you could say it really seems like FalconHit got a lot of mission progress without being a big suspect, which is a really big deal. On the other hand, the counterweight to that is that they're at statues for the second time late in a library game, which puts you on high alert even if you weren't that suspicious of them before. So hats off to FalconHit for getting that much mission progress done, I think, without being a suspect numero uno. But waiting till late in the game there, I think ultimately did cost them. It's going to be Slappy now, up 1-0 on Library. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. That one mission win Slappy has in 21 games against FalconHit, I should point out it is on Modern. It's on a bigger venue. It's not like some cheap little balcony civ shot or something like that. It's a legit mission win, but still very, very rare. And if FalconHit knows that competitive history, remembers any of it, I think they're going to say, show me the mission progress before I go shooting people.
Yeah, and this is something that Slappy has struggled with in the past, very historically. Slappy, we'll be waiting down the clock, waiting for something to come up, looking for the best option, but in that time gets down to like 45 seconds left with not much progress, and then just has to pull something out of his hat. And honestly, yes, or turban in this case. And honestly, Slappy is way too good at doing that. he is too good at pulling things out of his hat.
He's won some games like that he has no business doing, and I think it's part of, I'm going to let the secret fly because I've competitively retired for the time being. If you just do a lot of things late, people get nervous late in the game, and they make mistakes when those beeps are going. So it seems like reckless, it seems lucky. It's not as lucky as it seems, though, to put the sniper to that test, because it's a hard thing to do. But I will say, as SCL6 was winding down, we saw more mission progress from Slappy than I think we've ever seen in their competitive history. There were little indications that they were finally starting to do it. Now, maybe it's because of the arc of their career, or maybe it was just because they were in mid-season form, having played so often, and after a little bit of a layoff, they're going to revert to their old ways. But this, for me, is a big test to see whether or not those improvements stick. Because if Slappy gets missions done, they suddenly become a much scarier opponent.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if Slappy just acted as if the clock was against him all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like the spy would be so much better because you're already so good at getting away with things when you have so little time and the sniper's really watching for finishes, right? If you're good at doing it then, you don't need perfect opportunities. You could just take the better ones that you have when you don't have such issues with the clock. Instead, in this game.
Yep.
We just have flirt done over
We
2
just have
minutes
flirt
into
done.
the game.
Well, one of the reasons we just have flirt done is that we went over and stood next to Wheels as if he was our seduction target, waited a second and a half, and then walked away and flirted with our actual seduction target. I'm not sure what the idea was there. I'm pretty sure Slappy knows exactly what was going on, but it looked identical to, I think Wheels is my seduction target, followed by, oh wait, no, they're not. We have joined
Oh no.
with our double agent, though, and we cough during it, but it's off screen. So here's the question. How many lowlights can FalconHit get? They did not see the cough, but they were looking, and they rethink almost all their lowlights. They only get 2 for it. That we have gotten away with something there.
Yeah, that is a bit of a gift that FalconHit does not think. Okay, no, takes them again. Takes them again because FalconHit was looking for cough lowlights instead of the normal contact lowlights that you would take after a non-red contact. So if Falcon had not taken those and had reverted most of them, it would have been a very, very good contact despite the red test.
Yeah, it would have. It would have. So the first thing is, did I see the cough? Do I think I saw the cough? And if I did, I can probably shoot, or I've got a top suspect either way. The second stage, and this is what happens way more often, especially in library, we can only see a third of the venue at once. You say, everyone who was on my screen, how confident am I that they did not cough? And sometimes you can get 5 or 6 lowlights. Slappydavis kind of misses a pad. Misses a pad at an odd angle, and we're going to go right back. And this is a lot of walking around for nothing right now. But yeah, if you're sure people on your screen did not cough, you can get 5 or 6 or more lowlights, and that can be almost as good to narrow the party down when they don't have much mission progress. But in this case, kind of goes back and forth. We do end up getting a decent number of them, but still a missed opportunity for Falcon, especially missing that pad as well. That's another missed opportunity. Slappy here can finish inspect, but can't inspect swap for the win because it only gets to 4 missions with 1 minute left.
Yeah, but if we green this swap, we could try for like something like a Purloin or a late game bug.
That's the risk, right? I love the I need a green gambit.
Swap.
Instead, it's going to be a white swap, and as soon as he walks away, this is seen, and this is shot, and Falcon ties it back up. Snipers 2-0 on library. Big surprise.
Yeah, that's not too shocking. I don't think it's Sniper's a bit favored on library, but it just feels good as Spy to play despite that. Which I think is a sign of a well-designed venue.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that was me being sarcastic. For any new viewers, snipers do tend to win on library at high levels.
And now we do have Courtyard FalconHit on the Spy side. Again, another traditionally fairly sniper-sided venue, especially at high levels, but we do have that change. 3 extra guests. That's a lot of guests, Track.
It's a lot of guests, and it means that people can be doing things in the waning seconds of the game where, as I mentioned earlier, the sniper is put to the test. It's where Slappy likes to live, and it's given FalconHit trouble, frankly, in competitive play. That sometimes ill-advised decisions at the end of the game, which we are all more likely to make when the pressure's on, but I'd say FalconHit just a little more susceptible than most, playing right into Slappy's hands potentially, just as the 3 extra guests do. We'll see if they can cash it in, though. FalconHit's going to spy first, however, as Orange Asari in 3, 2, 1, Planet.
Takes control fairly. I mean, after a second and a half or so, but for someone who's been playing as long, the general trend I tend to find is that the longer you've been playing, the quicker you take control.
Yeah, there's an inverse correlation there, I would say, probably. We miss a pad. FalconHit returns the favor, but I think Slappy returns it right back and says, no, I'm not going to notice your missed pad any more than you notice mine.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't change the outcome of last game, the fact that FalconHit missed the missed pad, so maybe Slappy's gonna shoot the spy anyways right here, return that particular favor, that particular bullet.
White contact, only 3 people total out, and 2 of them have been low-lit. Slappy also, notices Seek a little late, and gets 3 out of 4 possible low-lights. That's fine for Courtyard, and a lot of people were in with real or suspected double agents, so I would say definitely above average for FalconHit, and pretty good early in the game.
Yeah, for sure. You want to get that done early, especially when there's a lot of people in. It can be an issue sometimes if your if there's only a few people with real, Sniper might highlight for that or just take a note of it and be more willing to hold on other statue visitors, that kind of thing.
Yeah, very significant, and there are about 100 seconds left on this clock, and we have no Seduce done, and we are spending a lot of time staring out into the abyss. I'm sure it's a lovely view, but we've got missions to do.
It's not an abyss, not since New Art. It's a nice little area around. We got a hedge garden.
I think you'd have to squint to see some of that.
Well, it is pretty dark.
Yeah,
it
is pretty dark.
It's nighttime.
We are going to get the inspects done, not the flirt, because that conversation where our seduction target is jam-packed. Apparently, our seduction target regaling the other guests with fascinating stories, which means there's no room for us to get a word in edgewise or in footwise into that conversation. But the inspect is done, at least in the meantime, and with 1 minute left, we have 2 missions done and no flirt progress.
Irish.
Yeah. having a couple missions done with 1 minute left is pretty
Oh,
standard for Courtyard, except with the no flirt progress, and it's going to be a white purloin, but it's completely behind the statue, and we walk away. It is just being noticed now. There's a low light. Here comes another one. We do get a flirt done in the meantime. We bailed out of there, and I'm not sure Slappy saw it.
yeah, it caught him on the rotation, and despite the fact that it was a white test, we might get pegged on the fact that we have a drink, right? But we have so little flirt progress that I don't know if we can really finish this without looking so desperate for flirt that Slappy's going to shoot us anyways.
But there just haven't been that many statue visitors either, and I think that's the thing. If none of these possible purloiners go to statues, I just don't see how we're going to finish. We need to leave and come back and flirt twice, and we're going to start that now, but it's going to have to be a bug. It's going to have to be a bug. We collide with the ambassador.
What?
Smash into them, and it's actually pretty good. There's a little bit of cover, but I think Slappy has to shoot for this. Has to shoot for it. Does shoot for it, and I think if we'd gotten one more flirt earlier in that game, we would have had a win.
Yeah, that bug was incredible for what it was. That's, when you see chaos, just crash bugs near the end of the game, you don't expect that. You don't expect something quite that good.
Right.
But Slappy sees it anyways and knows I need to take the shot, even if I'm not 100% sure, because sorry, she could have done this purloin. She's been to Inspecs. I don't know why she's doing bug, but
I don't know why she would. I must have missed something. No, you're absolutely right. And I think you put it perfectly. A good bug, a great bug for what it was. Not a good bug in a vacuum, definitely not a great bug in a vacuum, but for a late, desperate crash bug, you could do so much worse. That came out better than if FalconHit had any right to expect.
I think it actually is a good bug in a vacuum. Obviously not a great bug in a vacuum, but it really wasn't all that visible from the angle Slappy was taking anyways. And it might have actually been hurt by the fact that it was this crash bug near the end of the game and we already had so much suspicion. If that bug just happens normally without, if that bug happens in Chaos, for example, or soon after Chaos, I think that's clean.
Yeah, but Slappy is a good sniper, and they know that timing and that collision is it's too much from a statue visitor in particular. So got to take the shot, and it is a good shot. Let's not downplay it. That's not necessarily an easy shot. It's a circumstantial shot as much as anything. But Slappy does take it and is up 2-1. And this is always the thing for Slappy. If their sniper is really, really on point, they can really lock you down, and you could be looking at a draw even if you return serve, certainly. And Slappydavis' sniper looking really good in the early going here. Can they squeak out a spy win, though, with these extra guests here on Courtyard playing as Red Dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it?
Yeah, some of these, random bugs like that always make me a little bit mad, but also, it's like, really? Like this? What is this?
What is this?
Does FalconHit see it?
Yeah,
highlights.
I think they do.
Okay,
that's... look, the highlight doesn't tell you too much. It tells you that it's suspected, but the question you have to ask yourself is how many people over the course of the game are going to get that kind of highlight? Here's another thing. The fact that we got a statue highlight right afterwards is very bad news for Slappydavis, because I think it suggests that FalconHit says, no, I'm definitely going to remember what this is for.
Yeah, I think everyone takes statue highlights anyways, even if you have, a random other highlight in there.
It makes me very nervous as someone who's very disciplined on this sort of thing and values the power of routine in your sniping style. We saw the risk earlier on Modern potentially with the possible highlight switch there. Cost them a game, actually, Psycho Sloth in the previous match. But I don't know if that's it. I like the routine. I think the routine is huge. The more you can offload onto your long-term rather than your short-term memory, the better. But I still think this suggests that FalconHit is very suspicious of this bug and we're going to have a hard time finishing.
Yeah, that could absolutely be true. But still, really, that bug is so nicely done. So well, honestly, if you get the opportunity for that bug on Courtyard, I will take it every time, just because Courtyard can be so difficult to find those hardtails on. So you get an opportunity as good as that, you take it.
You absolutely take it, and it's probably worth the highlight. Again, if we're not absolute top tippy-top suspect, I think it's a decent trade on Courtyard against a good sniper who is going to win most of these games anyway, even with the extra guests. Sorry, I appreciate the tweak, but it's probably still a tough hill to climb. Slappy is going to go into statues here, and this is one of those focal points, one of those inflection points where the sniper might shoot if they suspect that.
Oh, wow. Track, we just got a fake highlight from FalconHit.
Oh,
that's telling.
Really bad.
Yeah, that's telling.
I hope it's not incidental movement, but if that's legit, then FalconHit is all over this. And yes, I'm definitely going to remember what this highlight's for. I don't need to worry about it. Although, if you want to be really generous, you could say it was total instinct. They went over to someone at statues and then went, oh, they already have a highlight. That's what you're hoping now if you're Slappydavis, but I don't think so.
I mean, we might just think that we're clean on the bug, right? With the fake highlight. That is the reason you do that.
And we're about to contact shortly after joining this conversation. There's the Seduce, and it's a green test, and it actually finishes it off. And we can finish missions here with a quick contact. 30 seconds left. I just don't see how we're going to survive this little two-word phrase, though, as soon as Wheels joins us.
Wheels can't join us. SDA
it
is
might
our
be
conversation.
For the best. I don't know. A good green purloin might actually be a better option.
SDA bails
here.
now, too. This is going to be hard. Yeah, and Slappy's trying. Yeah, had to twitch a little bit close to get the offer from Purloin, from Toby.
There's the mission win pending. The DA is still not in conversation outside the venue, and it doesn't matter. We leave. Yep, FalconHit was on it from the beginning, clearly suspected that bug, and showed great patience waiting until they could even sort of be close to being done before taking that shot. So the Wheels thing does not matter. Wheels almost, we thought, screwed us again, just like he did on Modern earlier, not getting back to conversation. But you can tell from that shot, with the Purloin not even having gone off, that it didn't matter.
Not only does the Purloin not go off yet, the clock doesn't even hang.
yeah. Falcon was waiting for any excuse. That is what we call an itchy trigger finger.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunate that Wheels bailed on us because, we were in conversation with him shortly, but he bails and then he's getting a briefcase for the last, 10 seconds of the last 40, and then he goes to Windows, and he's just not in conversation at all during that last bit of the game. Unfortunate for Slappydavis. Maybe if we had the contact option, we could have gotten away with that game, but FalconHit really, really was on top of that bug, it seemed.
I guess I should say itchy trigger talon. It's FalconHit now, playing on Ballroom as Wheels in 3,
Give me 1 second, I'm loading up the game. Sorry about that.
You're still reacting to the pun. I get it. We're all tied up at 2, though. The snipers have been really, really on point here. And
we're good to go.
It's going to be a little harder. I mean, it's a little easier on Library and Courtyard, again, even with the extra guests, than it is on Ballroom. So if we're going to see a spy win, it might start here. As I mentioned, FalconHit on Ballroom, playing his Wheels in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We start off right next to the Ambassador, and we do not try to bug because we have a drink anyway. And the nice thing is Slappy can see it, so we're probably not going to be credited for the bug not taken.
Yes, the bug not taken.
The bug not taken. It might make all the difference. Let me point out, 2 roads diverge in a wood. That's a pathing question. There we go. FalconHit ends up at the bookshelf and gets the heck out of there with a blue book, probably not a book of poems, appropriately enough, though. We do join with our seduction target, who is Ponytail. And we are waiting quite a while to flirt here. This is a fair bit of caution early from FalconHit. 51%, another green flirt for FalconHit, just like that Library game they opened the set with.
Sorry, I still have my head in my hands from that.
From all the literary references?
From that series of whatever it was. It wasn't just puns, it was references all over the place, but literary indeed. We still have our book. Yeah. I would be surprised if this goes back correctly at this point.
Yeah, I would too. You a fan of the old Bobby Frost, are you? Who isn't, right?
Of course.
I know everyone likes the Woods poem, but for me, I'd say Acquainted with the Night, probably my favorite. We are going to wait here for the cooldown timer and try to get that 2 flirt in, and I don't think it's worked yet. I think once in both sets combined has it worked after that initial 1 green flirt.
And another white flirt.
Yeah, there it is. Look, it's hard to do. Even if your AT rate is pretty good, that's not a very high percentage. But we'll take it, 85%, and we will take this contact as well, and that's only going to knock out, I think, a couple people. And will we even get the both? Smallman is one of them. We could get Buns out front. Is Slappy confident about it? Only 2 lowlights so far, 3 total. No, that is an excellent contact. And the contact is done. We've had a blue book for a very long time. We have approached green bookshelves and have not yet been shot. And I think we might actually get away with this. And if we do, we are in tremendous shape.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we put that book back actually a little bit too quickly, but I don't know if Slappy's really a sniper to notice that, especially when you're not being suspected for the microfilm. I know a lot of snipers will only really bother with book etiquette if they suspect that you're microfilming.
Hang on. We're going to go right for it. We're going to say, I got away with this microfilm clean, and there's over a minute left. I'm going to go to center statues. I'm going to finish this right now, and this will be a very tough shot.
And look at this. Queen's doing it too.
Queen's doing it too. This is really, and that makes it less likely, I think, that either of them get shot potentially, because now it's not just one person finishing.
We broke animation.
Oh
my
God! Goodness, is that what gives the game away? Oh, absolutely heartbreaking.
What? It's so hard to see on Slappy's vision here, but it's there.
The inspects were green too. It wasn't a timing thing. We weren't trying to squeeze it in. 2 green inspects. It's just an error in what would have been, I think, a clean win.
I think that.
Goodness.
Well, it wasn't a it was a timing thing, because it's not just about the test that color, right? It's how fast you trigger those inspects in sequence.
Yeah.
You're right.
Jeez.
Because
But 2 greens is enough. I mean, what I mean is they could have finished with 2 green tests.
2 green tests is more than enough for 2 cycles.
One is enough.
One is enough. 2 is enough. FalconHit just not quick enough in triggering the inspect after inspect after inspect, and sometimes that can really burn you. And Slappydavis maybe getting gifted, but also had to, I'm mixing my metaphors now, but had to catch that throw. Oh man, wow.
2 center statue visitors late in the game. The Spy's the one that gets shot after that microfilm, and that's a pretty good game from FalconHit, I'll say, overall, but Slappy even better. And if you needed more evidence that Slappy was just on today, you've got it. That is 3-2 Slappy now. And when you're playing Sniper like this, you really just don't need much. One Spy win might do it, and Ballroom is the place you can do it on. FalconHit does like Ballroom, it should be said. It's one of their favorite venues, and they are good at it, but oh boy, still a better place than most to pick up that Spy win. Let's see if Slappy can do it. And it's a small venue too, so if you're gonna have to walk around a lot, you can still get missions done. Playing as Teal in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We are running low on time here. We are approaching the halfway point of this match, which means that Spy wins are already a big deal, but if you get one now, it's a huge deal.
Yeah, and if you're Beef, you cringe a little bit seeing that animation break on the statues, because you really did not want that to happen. You really want FalconHit to be able to win this set, and then go and try to beat FalconHit yourself to get out second in this group. That's what it's going to take, because Slappydavis already has the tiebreak over Beef.
Yep, you're rooting for the birds here, for sure. And there's a bug, and it's completely behind conversation. Look, you can credit the path, but it is completely invisible, and FalconHit, frankly, does not look like they were guarding for it or expecting it at the moment. That is just a tremendous bug from Slappy. I'm going to say good overall, but circumstantially, given where the sniper was, the fact that it wasn't guarded turns it into great. The question is, can Slappy just make steady flirt progress and finish now? The bug is early in the game, so Slappy has to be cognizant of their tendencies. Make sure to get that second flirt in sooner rather than later so that they have options to finish.
Yeah, I mean, that bug is one that you have to be angled for. You have to be angled over further to the right so you can see who's walking behind the ambassador and if their arm sticks out. Because if you go just angle over to the corner there,
all you're gonna have is the path. Yeah, all you're gonna have is that path.
Angle over to that corner, and that bug is visible as anything.
But I get it. It's very uncomfortable to be in that far right. You don't want to be there for long. You want to swing over and then swing right back because it's very awkward. But you lose a lot in that motion too because when you're on these rails, it's pretty slow. Our seduction target joined with us, which will absolutely help with that second flirt I mentioned. But they didn't join very close because they don't realize they're a mission. And so we're only at 63%, which means it's going to be 2 flirts or a green to finish that. But getting that second flirt in it all gives us way more options. The question is, do we want to do the boring statue visit now or later?
Are you objectifying our ST? They don't realize they're a mission.
They don't realize you're a spy. You're heartless. They are an object to you. Absolutely. You cannot develop feelings for your seduction target. It's rule 1 in the spy agency. Do not fall in love, Teal. Seduction target is done. It is a green test, so we do finish it in 3. That's very helpful. We're going to go to center statues, but the person we collide with before we get there, white dress, is going to go to the statue next to us, which means we're not going to necessarily be able to finish this in one go. Could be very suspicious. The first test is white. We need the other person to leave right now. The second is white as well. Are we going to try to squeeze this in? We are going to get it. It's a white, but we're going to finish it just in time. Third mission done, and we are a contact away.
Was that 3
with
cycles
a minute
anyways?
left.
I thought that was 3 cycles anyways.
It might be. I don't know. I was too busy looking at the other person, but it's not noticed, and a contact wins the game now, potentially.
Yeah, but look at how bad this contact is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to have to be... You want a good one, though. You don't know how much of a suspect you are. You probably suspect that bug was pretty clean. We have managed to avoid the major...
Not again!
We have managed to not fall in love with wheels. That was the first test. The second is, can we find a good contact?
Okay. I was gonna be really scared for Slappy there with the DA bailing on us rather, but in this case, it joins a different conversation. The SDA joins a conversation, and this contact is looking much better now.
Better, but not great, but you'll take it, because if you're not suspected for that bug, it's just the inspect and the contact. You can take that shot on ballroom if you're afraid you missed something. Falcon might be! Falcon is afraid they missed something, I think, and takes the shot, and snipers win again.
Wow. It's just the incidental, like, there was just, I guess, not enough real context here because the SDA split. The SDA split from the conversation they were in, and so we were only one of 2 real contacts. And with the timing, with the center inspects, FalconHit said, I'm willing to take that risk.
Oh, and it is a risk. It absolutely is a risk. Even though there's some help there, as you say, very few real, maybe just one, goodness, and a late statue visitor too. But still, it's a scary shot to take to know I did not see any truly incriminating evidence, especially with a match that's this tight, where Slappy's sniper has looked this on point. Look at that. It is 3-all heading into high rise. FalconHit now playing as Queen. Again, it's 3-6. Either microfilm or swap has to be on. It's swap again for the 3rd straight game from the previous match and now into this one. Swap is on instead of microfilm, and Purloin is on instead of fingerprint. So far, with all these options, all 3 spies have picked the exact same setup. Starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. There might be an OP strategy, or at least people here so far seem to think so.
It's the funniest thing too is I haven't seen just 4. I've seen inspects off too.
That's wild. I'm going to say maybe overthinking it, but it depends on the opponent and definitely the level. Because as you mentioned, those statue highlights are a crutch for some people, and they don't know what to do with themselves when they don't have them.
Yeah, well, FalconHit getting that early 50% flirt again. And man, Beef, she's probably breathing a huge sigh of relief at that incredible shot by FalconHit.
Yeah. I look at this as our seduction target is another senior citizen. I like to imagine them at bookshelves. This is their old ladies book club, is all it really is. Here it is.
Yeah, but
it's probably like the corrections or something, right? I'm just gonna say it's a Franzen. Okay, Seduce is half done. We still have the book though. That's very interesting. I'll remind you that would normally be significant, except that microfilm is off, not on. So that book is going back at some point. And it might even be a little suspicious with the ambassador being there beforehand, even though if you suss it all out, you'll know that can't be a fingerprintable situation, just putting it back. There is a statue visitor as well. It is one of the twins, and there are already 3 highlights. We are not one of them, and FalconHit kind of slow playing here.
Yeah. I mean, that is how a lot of people will play high rise. They'll they'll wait around, hope someone maybe finishes inspects, or if they have prints on, finishes prints, contact for them, and hey, an AI could easily get shot there, right? But that can lead to some scenarios where you don't have many options. You try to go for the late game Purloin, the late game bug, and it's just not as good as if you had searched for something earlier on the game.
That's one of the things I like about the 3-6 rather than the 3-5 is very often bug and Purloin. You don't have to pick. You can leave them both on like that, potentially, and therefore give yourself 2 late options for aggressive, sudden missions, whereas you normally would just have the one with bug because swap is a little riskier in that regard. There's a little over a minute left, and that half flirt is still all we've had done. This sure feels like a Purloin opportunity, but no, FalconHit's not going to take it. There are some statue visitors that we can try to frame, but I just think we need to do a little more. Right now, the party not being particularly kind to us, and the spy not being very proactive as a result.
Yeah. ST just bailed on us earlier, and so we're still looking at only 50% on the flirt here. FalconHit's gonna need something from Slappy, I think. You really can't count on finishing missions yourself.
In the end of red. Now there's the contact, and that'll help a little bit, and there's a briefcase take right afterwards by one of the twins. That could actually look suspicious if it's caught, potentially. It looks like a move.
Yeah, but contacts are off, is a thing.
No, I know, but fishing for a low light.
Right, yeah.
Briefcase take immediately after a contact is a very stealthy little move, and it's the kind of thing FalconHit frankly would do. That's something they've gotten into over the years, is little low light fishings. But the Seduce is still only half done. There's 20 seconds left, and you're basically just hoping, oh, there's a white Purloin. Unless we mistake this for a green that we missed earlier somewhere in the chain, I just don't see. Yeah, it matters. We weren't going to finish anyway. It's a little bit of a tough shot. Slappy's got some pretty good aim, and it's a good thing, too. But we do, indeed, take the Monarch down. And with only 2 missions done, Slappy still wins.
Imagine if that teal hand had gotten in the way.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good. That would be a sad, sad way to lose. And I would say maybe just a little jumpy then, because you do have time there. But we don't know the flirt's not done.
Yeah, exactly. Slappy is not certain the flirt is not done, and he has that time.
A few more seconds regardless, though, even if it's in mission win countdown. But it all works out. Slappy now playing as Bling on high rise, and it is, well, look at that. It's the exact same mission setup, 4 for 4 on the day. playing his Blink Twin on high rise in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And Slappy now still in a really good position here, guaranteed at least a draw here coming out of high rise, and the sniper has just looked really, really good all day. For a second there, I thought we were going to go for an early green Purloin, and I think it would have actually been a pretty good risk.
Yeah, I think a really early Purloin is never a terrible option. Especially, I would have loved to see, because swap's on, just green Purloin, inspect swap. First 30 seconds of the game. I would be all on board for that game plan, but instead Slappy is going to play that slower game plan that we see from a lot of spies on high rise.
This is a little rough. So Slappy is not standing near anyone at all, and now they've taken a drink as well. So this is some hardcore idling from a hardcore idler, and that does not speak well to the rest of the game and whether or not they are going to eschew some of those tendencies that we did reference. On the other hand, it is high rise, which means this is one of the places where you can get away with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spy's going to try to get this flirt in, looking right out at windows next to our seduction target, who is Seek. And it is a green test, 51%, and that is going to make up for a lot of lost time.
Yes, indeed, it is 51%. If you hit that second one, you're pretty much back right on track. And of course, Seek left us, so we have that ability to just go right back to him. The flirt cooldown's already gone. Does Slappy hit the second green?
Yes, he does, and we've made up for all that time now. Almost 2 minutes left, and it's only one mission done, but it is Seduce, and you got to imagine at some point you actually are going to get a pretty good contact opportunity. This isn't terrible. You could take it here and give yourself 100 seconds to find one mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slappy's waiting, though. He really wants, I think, at least one more in, and preferably Smallman. Smallman, unfortunately, does not go in, but they do go to statues, so you might take that anyway, even though they're already a highlight. I think Slappy probably wants to maximize this contact now, do the 2 missions, hope a shot comes off, and they'll still have somewhere, let's say, in the neighborhood of 40 seconds to get missions done. If it doesn't, no, they decide to give up and say, I'm not going to let it happen to me again. I'm going to give up that Smallman highlight into a low light. And with just over a minute left, the second mission is done. No shot has come off. Here come highlights for real. We are one of them. But we're just one of them, and we only need one more mission to take a commanding lead.
Yeah.
We still have this drink, by the way. We've been nursing it since the beginning of the game, and we're going to finally finish it here at Statues. Is this going to be a swap? This would be the statue you would think about swapping, potentially. Maybe the one next to it slightly better to force the rotation a little harder. But this is still a very swappable statue if you feel the sniper is distracted on the other end of the venue. It is going to be a swap, and it's going to be a pending swap. It's a green with 40 seconds left, and who's going to call it? The nearest people have highlights.
Yeah, General is there. General could absolutely be the one called here. Look at him. He's going to Windows.
He's looking.
He's going. Oh, I think it got called, but it's a contact. It's another contact.
He gets knocked out with the contact. But are we even going to look now? We might not even look at the statue at all. So if we don't suspect the swap, it's not going to be overtime either.
It's for Purloin.
Here comes the pending statue. It's swapped. We're not looking. We don't suspect it. It's on screen. It's on screen for just a second at the side. Has FalconHit seen it? They have not. It knocks out the swapper, but that causes us to not even look for the swap, and they swap on high rise. Wins the game for Slappy, up 5-3 now.
Yeah, that decision's such an interesting one, right? Do you want to contact and make it less likely the sniper ever checks for swap at all, or do you want to keep the person who's swapping as a suspect and say it's a 50-50 if you see the swap at all?
What I love about this choice is that there is no right answer. Absolutely, either one can make more sense. But here's the funny thing: if Slappy knew General was a highlight and was the one going to take it, I think maybe you might have chosen otherwise there.
Well, so I think that the thing that makes Slappy's decision potentially correct here is that General was at Inspecs right before this call, right? And if you're anticipating General's going to get called for this because he is the closest, then you think, okay, General has real. General probably is assumed flirt
right now.
Yeah. And so why would General swap? That's 4 missions for General if you are assuming flirt on FalconHit's side. So it just becomes something where you think, why would General be swapping here? Also, you could see the fade. There's just, I think, multiple reasons why taking that contact and distracting from the potential swap is the better option in this case.
Yeah, and the question is also, of course, are they going to be able to watch the fade? If they're watching the fade, it's over. A good sniper is going to catch that 95 times out of 100. But if their attention is at all split, with Purloin on, it's much more likely, because sometimes the Ambassador is not vulnerable, but Purloin pretty much always is. So in that case, I think with Purloin on, you're probably right. It definitely works, regardless, and that's the thing Slappy most cares about. Results over process, I always say. FalconHit now on Modern, suddenly down 5-3, and again against the sniper, who has just looked like they're having a good day, playing as Ponytail in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Sometimes you know early in a match. I always, in my matches against Slappy, there were certain matches where just early on the sniper caught me not in mission win countdown, but a mission before even, and I just felt like, uh-oh, this is one of those days where I'm not going to be able to let up anything on the other side, and this is what that feels like right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, before this match, Slappydavis only had one mission win versus FalconHit competitively in their history, and
Great point.
there it is, number 2 to get to take a lead, and potentially, I believe you mentioned that Slappy hasn't won competitively against FalconHit, just a draw somewhere in there.
Yep, 3-0-1 totally, and they were down 6-3 in that draw and had to bring it all the way back. And yeah, it is a mission win. I should point out it's a 3-mission variant, right? So it's one of the, I don't want to say easier ones exactly, but let's be honest, there's something to that. But still, it was a pretty audacious one, and it involved a hardtail. So it is a very significant thing. And if FalconHit was saying, I want Slappy to show me mission progress, now they've seen it.
Yeah, Slappy definitely picking up the pace, I think, from the historical play, not doing nearly as many timeouts.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Slappy have to really hang the clock at all this set.
Yeah. By the way, while we were analyzing the previous game, FalconHit picked up a delegated to a very slow character, and the timer expired just before White Dress took it.
Yeah, the amount of time it takes for someone to get to that bar and get the drink can be really deceptive. I've seen a lot of spies send it off, wait a little bit longer than they needed to send it off.
There are several factors,
and,
right? So the most obvious one is how long they wait. Then it's which conversation you do it from. If it's not the front one, it can take a long time. Then the speed of the character. It was a very slow character. Then is there anyone at bar? And if there's even one person at bar, a second one could beat them there, in which case suddenly it all falls apart. That's the risk of the delegate. But if you do thread that needle and get it in just under a minute, oh boy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I think, deceptive on the takes. I've seen a lot of people mess that up and just not realize how long it's going to take to come off and wait longer than they need to. And then it doesn't come off and it punishes them, especially if that Perlin would have been really good. So FalconHit here, maybe not necessarily trying to get it off guarantee. Oh, wow, look at that bug, though.
Oh, that is invisible. Slappy is at the wrong angle for it, unfortunately. I think maybe watching for these microfilms, these two characters at green bookshelves potentially, or maybe some kind of gutsy swap from Duke. I'm not sure what it is, but whatever it is completely obscured. It's a free bug for FalconHit, who has gotten contact on in the meantime, and their first flirt was green, and even without that purloin taken, they are in great shape here for a huge needed spy win.
Yeah, and that's what I think some of these old guard players are really good at, taking opportunities that come to them. I'd say that newer breed of spies tend to make their own opportunities much more often, but sometimes that does require forcing a little bit. But yes, the old guard, when they see that that bug opportunity, that perfect little thing that they can do, they will always take it and they execute really well. And look at that safety off on the Duke.
Yep, opportunism.
Wait, FalconHit, no.
Uh-oh. We're going to go into statues here. I'll say opportunism is key for the old players. It's hashtag team seize stuff. Gotta seize the day. That's what it is. And you're right. The new players will force an issue sometimes. And that is the downside to team do stuff as opposed to team seize stuff. Inspects are done. We need one more flirt potentially, and here's our chance to get it. A green test will do this, and if we don't get it, we're still in okay shape, but suddenly we have to do a little bouncing around. It is a white test, and now with 40 seconds left, we are not going to have time to timer flirt. We're going to have to leave and come back, and we're going to leave very quickly, and it helps that the Duke is talking, because we actually are, I think, correctly interrupted and allowed to leave, but it's going to be a little suspicious to go back into this conversation. We're going to check our watch, not add time, thank God, and hopefully stand across from our seduction target, but if Duke leaves, things are going to get hairy. Here it comes, Ponytail standing across from the seduction target. A flirt wins it, 20 seconds left. It does come off. It's an innocuous talk. I don't think Slappy can shoot for this, having not seen that bug. What a response from FalconHit to get back in this match.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit scared during the rest of this game when FalconHit just goes in next to the ambassador at statues behind a ton of cover, and it's like,
yeah,
FalconHit, you already have the bug. You don't need this. You could go to the other statue set.
We've talked about how that's good if you're confident the sniper is guarding it and is confident you're not bugging, because then it makes
but
it
there's
look more
just
like
so much cover.
There's so much cover,
And you
so they
stick
can't
your
be
arm.
confident.
You gotta stick your
Right,
arm in there.
and you already know they might have missed one of the bugs, in which case maybe they're not guarding it as well as they could be that particular game. You're right, that was a very risky move, but it somehow works out. Falcon hit 5-4. Now just a sniper game on Modern with a chance to tie it up. It's going to be Slappy as Teal in 3, 2, 1, playing it. That mission win I mentioned, if I recall correctly, was on Modern too.
Yeah. And was it 5-bit Modern at the time, or was it?
I should probably know that. I should probably check.
I'm going to assume it was probably 4-bit Modern, given that their competitive history involves 2 games in SEL 6 Diamond, which was 4-bit.
Yes, I think probably so. Yes. Yeah, it was in season 5.
Oh, it was in season
actually
5.
when they were in platinum. So very interesting. And I'll point out that Slappy did it then with a walking bug and a fingerprint, in addition to the Softails.
Walking bug, fingerprint. Well, that wouldn't be enough. SEO 5 was 5 of 8.
Oh, and the 3 Softails.
And the
Seduce, contact, inspect.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Right. I don't know where my head was going with counting, but
well,
it didn't.
Fingerprint is sort of a Softail. That might have been part of it.
Well, I mean, fingerprint is a Softail. That's why it confused me.
Right,
But
right. Yes,
don't worry about that. Sometimes my counting, it's not as good as it seems to be when I'm sniping.
As long as you can mission win count, a mission count when you're actually sniping.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't really need to mission count when you're casting. We have that helpful little checklist in the top left, and one of them has just been checked off. That's a contact for Slappy, and 2 flirts already too. So early signs that Slappy is determined to actually finish here. After giving up that spy win, they can't just sit back and hold service sniper anymore.
Yeah, and the delegate timer does expire. We had sent it off to our double agent, but once again, that delegate taking a long time with Slappy. I mean, FalconHit's laser kind of trembling there a little bit.
I mean, they might have just bumped their mouse. Who knows? I've been known to do it myself.
It just looked very interesting. But yeah, it expires, and I actually think that would have been a very strong purloin given the party.
Yes. Yeah, so it actually is there's a lot of similarity to that whole green-white swap knockout thing that we mentioned, which is that if you delegate to a cast member, obviously it can't be them, but it's less likely it gets noticed for a little while too. So I think that would have been a very strong purloin. I don't see a lot of indication that FalconHit was suspicious of it, and obviously it could have come off if it were sent just a little bit sooner, but it does not. Slappy still has decent progress otherwise, though. About 2 minutes left, and we're just 1 flirt away from finishing 2 of those aforementioned Softails, and then like the last time he got a mission win on Modern against FalconHit 2 years ago, roughly, we do not need that 5th mission.
Yeah. Well, we do need to get moving, though. 2 minutes may seem like a lot, but when you're sitting on just contact and flirt, which are kind of like the default missions that you'll often do when you're pacing, a minute 45 can be a little bit difficult to find a clean mission win here. So we'll see if Slappydavis can, we'll obviously finish off this flirt, but again, now down to 1:30 on the clock, 90 seconds.
90 seconds, and we don't have partial inspects either. We don't have a delegate in pocket. We really don't have anything going. This is clean. It's 2 missions from scratch. No partial fingerprints, no nothing. We're going to go back into bar. We might try this again, and I don't mind it. The Ambassador looks a little vulnerable here if we want to get that walking bug that I referenced potentially too. And remember, Slappy got one as Teal on Ballroom, and it was really good.
It's a fingerprintable drink.
It's a fingerprintable drink, and that might be the avenue. It might be fingerprints again like it was 2 years ago.
Wait.
Whoop,
Slappy?
Oh boy, we kind of walked around the briefcase.
Yeah, I think we acted as if we didn't idle in that conversation before taking that briefcase, but that's really, it's a little bit awkward, but I don't know if FalconHit saw this, and if he didn't, we could return this, send a delegate off, and potentially be in mission win countdown before
he knows it. You gotta send it right now, though.
Yeah.
You want to do it you need to do the delegate from this front conversation because you're running low on time. You need to do it right now. You need to do it right now.
Oh, you can't do this!
We're going to the far conversation, and we're taking extra time to do it. I don't see how it's going to take in time. It's going to be a clock hanging here, potentially, even if it does here. Yeah, look, it's going to be mission win pending, but I just don't see how this is going to take. There is someone at bar already. They might be out of here by the time Queen arrives. I just don't think it's going to get there. We're going to need our hands free in case we have to crash bug, though. This is not how you want to do this. Oh, it's so close.
Oh.
It's so close. Queen's about to take the drink.
Oh, she gets it.
Just under the wire. 6 seconds left. I don't see how Falcon can shoot this. I'm not sure they've even seen it gone. That was so close. Slappy takes a huge chance on the timing, and it pays off. 2 spy wins on Modern.
Yeah, and I gotta look at this. We get this drink. We get the delegate option. Yeah, 3 seconds out from
2.2.
Yeah,
2.2. Wow. 2.2 seconds. We were absolutely at the mercy of the party of the RNG there. Slappy does not care. Wins with a fingerprint and a purloin.
Yeah, and secures the draw, which I do believe. Let me think about it. Slappy has currently won and guaranteed a draw. So even in a loss against, so Slappy is guaranteed 1-1-1 at least, and that is better than, that's about exactly as well as Beef can do, but has the head-to-head. So unfortunately, with that spy game, with that 2.2 seconds under the wire, Beef has been eliminated from the Summer Cup despite a valiant effort to take that draw against Psycho Sloth.
Wow, FalconHit, though, still fighting, still clawing with those talons. Slappy up 6-4 now, and here we are again, once again, the trailing player. Not 3 in a row this time, 2 in a row on Terrace, though. Still a tall order, and an even taller order against a sniper of this caliber playing this well. FalconHit is going to go up first. It's going to be Wheels on Terrace. No more margin in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Oh boy, that's just such a big win from Slappy right there. And again, I think we're seeing, for the most part, that mission win progress from SCL6 carry over into this competitive event. I'm not going to say it's a new Slappy. I think there's still some challenges, but they're getting to that countdown more often than they used to, especially in crucial moments.
Yeah. And it's a bit unfortunate for Beef, especially after that attempt last time, but FalconHit is still in this. If FalconHit manages to take a draw here, and that means that FalconHit will actually, I believe, need to score more game wins than Slappy. But that's gonna be a hard task, because remember, it was 11-1 in Slappy's favor against Beef. I'd have to look at the score lines for their sets against Psycho Sloth. Yeah. Slappydavis lost 5-7. Falcon also lost 5-7. So if we saw FalconHit take this draw, it would still be a difficult road, because you'd need to do 11-1 or better. 11-1 would go to the next tiebreak, which is venue sweeps, and if that's tied up, it'd be a tiebreak match.
Really? Are you sure we don't want to go to whether or not Mercury is in retrograde, or maybe just a dice throw? How about that? Good grief. I would say rock, paper, scissors. I said earlier that these two had a rock, paper, scissors thing going on. I think that would be a fitting way to end it. But first, FalconHit actually needs to win this game and the next one, and with just a minute and a half left and only 70% in the flirt, and then a red test, it looks like we've given up on mission win complete. I think that was probably an intentional red flirt to try to bump our seduction target around. FalconHit, I'm not sure if they can finish. I'm not sure if they want to. Banking their tournament, their Summer Cup right here with Psycho Sloth, the surprise entrant as number 1 in this group. You know it's going to be one of these SCL Diamond players not making it out, and FalconHit is a minute away from being that player.
Yeah.
Here comes the contact. It's going to knock out, looks like 3 people potentially. 2, because Seek joins right before, but I think Kane might have been moving as well. That's a lot of lowlights. Yeah, this is rough, and I just don't see enough mission progress from these other characters. If Slappy can be patient, the victory and the emergence into the knockout bracket will be his.
Yeah, this game could secure Slappy's berth into the knockout bracket, as you mentioned, in second place in the group, but any placement out of this group, clearly it's a really difficult group. Even the newest player in the group, Beef, she's shown some incredible skill against Psycho Sloth today. This group might be one of our groups of death, even though we didn't really have one, quote unquote. But look at this, Slappy down to 10 seconds.
Stock top. We're trying to interrupt people and get them to leave. It's not going to work. 4 seconds left. I would have said Beef flexing their muscles personally. By the way, there's the timeout. FalconHit runs out of time.
And Slappydavis, runs out of the tournament. Slappydavis securing that second place, and now it's all just down to the victory lap on Terrace. Does FalconHit, take that constellation shot, or is Slappydavis just gonna run away with it?
Yeah, we'll just throw this on anyway for the heck of it. We know there's nothing at stake here except pride. If that, Slappydavis is Bling Twin on Terrace in 3, 2, 1, playing it. That's just a pure frame game from Falcon, and I can certainly admire it on Terrace against a good sniper, but there is something that feels bad about it sometimes, to have so little agency at the end of your match and your tournament and all that. But I still admire it, and that's kind of the point, right? Spies don't like to do it, which means snipers don't always expect it. On the other hand, Slappy, playing with free money here, can just do whatever. I would not be surprised if we saw a swap here.
Yeah, that I would love to see it. I want to see it. I want to see swap finish like if I want to see swap, get a green flirt, go contact like
Yeah, so
before
I'll
it's even
remind you that
done.
there are prizes for what we've described as, quote, the coolest play in Summer Cup.
The hottest play,
Um,
really, but
Hottest play. Yeah, I was gonna say temperature irony there,
bit of a
basically.
misnomer, yeah.
And I will point out we have not specified what that means. We have given people no criteria other than the word cool. So this actually would be a really kind of fun opportunity to do it if Slappy knows that they're not playing for anything in the moment. Not that I would expect it, although I guess I would probably have to take that into account, right? Is that they did something in a meaningless game. But if it's cool enough, I won't care. Slappydavis, though, looks like they might be playing a very straightforward game. 2 inspects done, half the flirt, just another green flirt. Contact is done, and Slappy can finish any one of a million ways, but it doesn't really matter because they are already sailing through into the knockout bracket. And as you mentioned earlier, Games 1 is the tiebreaker, and that's why these group stage matches go to 12. These ones have been close enough that they basically had to until this last game, but sometimes it isn't, and they do it anyway for exactly that reason, because it can matter for tiebreaks, especially in small sample sizes like this.
Yeah, tie breaks absolutely do come into play quite often in these cups. When you only have 3 matches, it's a relatively short group stage. You don't have all that big sample size, so it's pretty easy to have someone with the same score as someone else, and at that point, the margin of victory is what matters.
Yes, and we don't want that kind of standard sportsmanship. You don't stop playing. You want to run up that score in Summer Cup, absolutely. And in fact, Winter Cup too. This is pretty standard for these sort of soccer style, FIFA style group stages. Is you just want to run up that score whenever possible. Show no at mercy whatsoever. In this case, neither of these players today, any of these players really showed any mercy, but they end up being close anyway because they were so evenly matched on the day. But that's why you will see those kind of beatdowns occasionally, and it is necessary. Might not feel fun to do, but you might need it, and it turns out here it can come into play. Slappydavis, 35 seconds left, might just be doing a time ad, can do whatever they want here, can finish with inspects, but they can only go to the far right statues to get it done, and they still need a green flirt too, so Slappy behind the 8 ball a little bit time-wise. Not surprising, but also not important.
85%, and yeah, that's gonna pretty much sign this game to death here. We're gonna go into the statue, but even if we
Inspect swap.
even if we get both inspect and get back to our flirt, there's gonna be overtime. We're just gonna get shot. I think that FalconHit might even shoot us before then because he's not sure that we didn't finish before 10 seconds. And yeah, there it is. FalconHit takes the shot, a good one. Unfortunately, just a little bit too late getting that game. And Slappy takes that 7-5, knocking out both Beef and FalconHit in one fell swoop.
Yeah, and it was not Slappy sniper dominating, even though it did look very good. It was Slappy coming back with that strong spy win on Modern. If you got to pick a pivotal moment in the match, I think that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I'm really impressed with all of the play today. Beef, in particular, being so new and playing that well. Slappy, kind of the opposite almost, where it's like the history has been Slappydavis slow and not getting that many things done on Spy and having to kind of shake it out right at the end of the game. I didn't really see any of that this set. And, obviously both FalconHit and Psychosloth brought it close to both their opponents. So just great play all around. I'm happy about the games we got today.
Yeah, very impressed across the board, and definitely relative to their reputation, you'd probably say Beef played the best too.
Yes,
which is really saying something. So definitely a bright future there. Again, career sounds like a grandiose term for an early access esports game, but insofar as they have a SpyParty career, this is an auspicious beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that everyone has come out to watch. It's been a fun cast. I'm hoping everyone had a fun time. And if you're new and you're wondering what this game is SpyParty. You can buy it on SpyParty.com or on Steam. We also have a Discord where you'll find more competitive stuff if that's what's really caught your eye. It's discord.gg/SpyParty. Go there for the entire community's there. We have notifications and announcements for every big event, as well as announcing new casts, which we will be having every weekend for the duration of the Summer Cup. So if you're interested, that's where you're going to find information. You can also give a follow to SpyParty and SpyParty fans on Twitter. A lot of information there too, and stuff about casts as well. So thank you, everybody, for coming out to watch. Thank you, Track, for casting with me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and particularly given the quality of the game. So a big thank you, above all, to the competitors for putting themselves out there and playing so well.
Yes, I would agree with you. And with that, that's me, Opie Writes, and Warning Track signing off.